All right, welcome to the Creation to Cash Flow podcast. On this podcast, we discuss strategies to maximize your creativity and help you achieve financial freedom. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, Nick.
How's it going?
It's really good. I'm so excited for our guest speaker that we have today.
Yes, super special to have the sourdough starter that we just made with us today because we are in person for this episode. So we started making sourdough right before this because
Why not?
I think that's just what people do these days.
It is, and her name is Rosalinda, and she is joining us. So shout out to Rosalinda for her time and effort for being here.
Yes, super exciting. How's it going, Michelle? To fill in the listeners, I've been living here for a few days. How has that been?
Like the most effortless thing. It's been so fun and easy, and I mean, I feel like we can get so much accomplished.
Yeah.
You can also help me stay on task with things. It's been like effortless, you know? It's just like fun. It's so cool. But how have you felt being here? It's been almost a week now.
Y'all, we joke about the penthouse problems, but man, life is good here, let me tell you. It is so beautiful. I've been super grateful for just everything. We've been eating great, we've been laughing, we've been getting things done. Tough loss for the Jets last night, but we're moving on from that. Life is good. I think we're in the zone.
Yeah, we're definitely in the zone. There's been a lot that we've talked about that we've actually been able to do.
Yeah.
We're doing a beach bonfire tonight.
Yep.
We still need to do the Culver City Baldwin Hills steps.
Yep.
I started watching Naked and Afraid, which is Nick's favorite show, and it's really good. Highly recommend it. Yeah, it's been a great time, honestly.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
To anyone who has not seen Naked and Afraid, who's like, what the fuck is Nick's favorite show? Y'all don't knock it until you try it. True. Because it's got all of the drama of a good reality show. And I don't watch a lot of TV, so you know it's got to be good. But all the people are naked and like trying not to die too, and there's no prize money. So they're in it. It's good quality stuff. But anyway, we are in the zone, and today that's obviously what we've got to talk about. We're going to talk about getting in the zone because we're in a flow state right now, for sure. We're definitely flowing, and I think we've talked about flow states a little bit before and how they come and go, but we'll take it from the top, and that's going to be the theme of this whole episode. So maybe we start with just talking about like what is a flow state and what does it feel like? To me, I feel a little biased because I was doing a lot of reading and research on like what actually happens in your brain when you're in a flow state. And I saw a really good definition of it from someone who studied flow states for like 40 years. Wow. His name, there was no chance of even trying to look it up and still pronounce it. But we thank him for his work. He defined it as being so relaxed and dedicated to a task that you suppress your self-consciousness.
Oh, I love that.
It makes so much sense because when you're in that flow state, you really do kind of forget that, like, if you're hungry, if you're thirsty, if you have to go to the bathroom, if you're tired, if you're winded, if you have a headache, whatever it is, like, you kind of forget about those things when you're in a flow state. So the term, like, suppressing your self-consciousness, that really hit hard.
Wow. That's crazy. I feel like people with ADHD have this gift where we can often get into a flow state, but a lot of times that hyper focus isn't for like something good.
Right.
So I love that. That definition is perfect. Wow.
Would you add anything to it? Like, how would you define it if you didn't hear that first?
I define it as when you just lose track of time and that like thoughts that you didn't know were there are able to flow into you.
Yeah.
As opposed to you trying to force creativity or trying to force something, things just come your way and you don't even know what time it is, but you just know that you're grasping the things that are coming to you and they're like helpful and useful and you're doing something with them.
I would also say that a flow state feels like almost something that comes to me. Mm-hmm. Like whenever I say I want to get into a flow state, it's very hard But certain environments or activities are what put me into it, and that's what we're really going to dive into today, especially because our favorite author, Robin Sharma, he only talks about this briefly on a couple pages of The Wealth Money Can't Buy. It's chapter like 80 or something. If anyone's reading that book, check it out. But he mentions so many profound things in like just a page and a half that we were like, I think we need to do our episode about this.
Yes.
I guess we'll start off with the fact that he kind of begins it and he's like, scientists have labs, artists have studios, musicians have, I think it was also studios, but
something
like sound rooms and things like
Yeah.
that. Point being, people that are gifted at their profession always have that place to go. What is your place to go, Michelle? Because your thing is content, it's creativity, it's leading teams. Where do you go?
Oh man. Well, I love being here.
Yeah.
Literally, like if you're watching the YouTube video, right behind me, right here is where I get most of my work done. And then the home that I have, I mean, there's literally 3 tripods in front of Nick and I right now. Being able to just kind of like flow around my home and film wherever is my flow state. Like this is where my environment and my atmosphere makes me the most creative, because I'm able to like silence everything and be in my own environment. But I also really love going, okay, Oliver, come on up, baby. Rosalind's gonna take a seat. Lay down.
Another guest.
And guest speaker number 2, Oliver is not joining us. Going to the beach is one where I really love to write and reflect and think of new ideas. And then when I need to do administrative things, I love going to the co-working space in this building because there's other people on their computer, there's conference rooms. So those are like kind of all where I live, but I've purposefully invested in this place to where I can have that environment because I know I need it.
It really is inspiring here. Like it's so great to get things like that done. And you make some good points about how being around other people doing productive things can help.
Yeah.
Even though in the book and just the way we've kind of talked about it, you really need to be alone when doing this. But sometimes it helps to have other people also alone in their flow state near you.
Yeah.
Like the energy of the room just changes. Kind of like when you go into a library, whether you're like looking for a book. Hopefully people go into libraries
For books.
still.
No, they do. I have a lot of friends that go to the one out here.
Okay, great. Wonderful. I would hope our listeners do too, because we always emphasize the importance of reading and things. Like I would be nowhere if there weren't books.
Same.
Like when I stopped watching TV and started reading books was when life started to work out in my favor. So hopefully y'all are reading. But being alone, yet near people that are also like alone in their flow state can help you get into it. Like I had one friend in college who he would not be able to work from our house. He would have to go to the library, which was not really close to us, in order to get any work done.
Wow.
Shout out to Tim if Tim's listening to this.
Hi, Tim.
But Tim would have to go to the library to get work done. And that was his place to get into a flow state. While for me, it was in my bedroom because I could be alone there. And for me, a flow state, even if I'm doing like difficult homework, I also need to be able to like stop and lay on the floor in the middle of, and like do weird self-development things where I'm like, oh, like my hamstrings are tight. While I'm thinking, I'm going to lay on the floor and I'm going to stretch, or I'm going to do these things, and I can't do that in a library.
Yeah.
But even just like the feeling when you walk into a library and it has that quiet energy of people working, I feel like I could just sit down and just be like, okay, in a few minutes, I'm going to be in a flow state. Let me turn off my phone and lock in.
Yeah. That's a really good, I mean, there's other locations too, like coffee shops.
Yes.
You know somebody that loves a coffee shop, because
Yes.
that's maybe not as quiet as a library, but the energy. It's like I can be in a coffee shop or the co-working space and not be alone, but I'm by myself.
Yes. What do you think about silence? Does it help you or hurt you? Because I'm picturing people like that like to work in a coffee shop that might appreciate a little background noise. And I'm also picturing people that might want like dead silence. What is your preference?
Depends on my mood, and it depends on what I'm working on. Because there are times when I need like that clicking. If there's a click, if there's noise, I'm just so distracted. So I would say about 80% of the time I need silence. 20% of the time I can have lo-fi music on. So if I go to the co-working space, everything's quiet, but sometimes there's like, you know, people talking. I can put in headphones and put on lo-fi, noise cancellation, and still be alone and still get what I need to get done without needing silence. But that's very rare. I just prefer silence because my thoughts are so loud. And if I don't capture them, then they go away. And a lot of times those are my best creations.
Very interesting.
What about you?
In a weird way, I don't know. I used to sometimes sit by when I would go to Florida when I was in college, sometimes I would sit by the pool, and it was like a college pool. Like it was like a pool party every day, and I would sit there and work. But it was loud. Like there weren't really rules. So people would be blasting music and screaming and doing things. And I'm like sitting there with a book, and I'm just like, wow. This is so nice. And I would get questions. People are like, how can you read right now? And I'm like, what do you mean? It's beautiful out here. Like the sun is shining. It's not ideal, but like I can still work if there's a lot going on around me. But to do my best work, I put on like meditation music. Like one of those, like when you open up my YouTube recommendations, it is all guitar lessons recommended, like country songs, like play this song by Luke Bryan, or those like 8-hour meditation musics that have all the like crazy looking Illuminati pictures.
Yes.
Putting those on really helps me. Like just a little bit in the background, super low volume. It just gives my brain that little like, okay, we can relax.
Well, I'm sure the frequency on those too is exactly what is helpful for your brain to relax.
Yes. They always are like 350 hertz or whatever they are. So those help me a lot. Let's talk about in the book, The Wealth Money Can't Buy, the example they use is Ian Fleming, who is an author. And Ian Fleming wrote the James Bond novels. Ian Fleming bought a cottage on the ocean in Jamaica, and he would go there so he can sit quietly and write the James Bond books. And he called it his golden eye. And I haven't read the James Bond books, but I think there's one called James Bond Goldeneye, isn't there?
I don't know.
I think there is, and that was why he put it in the book, because it was like cool to like, oh, that's how he came up with the name of that, I think.
I don't know, but it makes sense. Like you have to create your space.
Yeah.
Right now, this is my space. In college, there was absolutely no way I could be in a penthouse, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't live in a town where I could just go to the beach. So it's like, you have to use what you have, right? Do the best that you can with what you have. And so depending on where our listeners are, like that, you've got to find it. If Nick in college had to go to his bedroom, like that's just where you went, right?
Yeah.
I could definitely not work by the pool because I'm very easily distracted, but I just liked those like libraries or like coffee shops, stuff like that. But now I don't really need to go to a coffee shop.
I tend to, I think I'm putting the pieces together for myself a little bit as we're recording this, because I also really resonate with the beach.
Yeah.
Like the waves crashing.
Yes.
I think I have my best ideas when I'm, and get in a flow state when I'm in the sun.
Yeah, same.
I think that's what it is for me.
Oh, for the pool then, it's because there was sunshine.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, this is always, I mean, not at this moment, but usually this is sun. I'm in a sun chamber.
And I've been tanning for like an hour a day here at least. So it's been easy to feel like I'm in a flow state. So interesting. That makes sense. And I also feel it a lot after going to the gym. Like if I have a long day of calls, I need to go to the gym in the morning so I can like mentally handle all of it. Like you would think that takes away, and it's like, oh, if you get a lot of calls, you don't want to use your energy in the morning, but it actually makes me feel like I'm going to be in a better flow state if I do the things that make me feel good first.
Yeah.
Then I can get into a flow state easier.
Well, that's like the whole 5 a.m. club.
Right.
I mean, the 20-20-20, that is a flow state. Like, that's how you get into your flow state before the world wakes up. And that's why it works so well for so many people.
And it's also interesting to think about what happens to our brain. I was reading about this morning. When you're in that flow state, there is so much chemically that happens to your brain. Like, it's a real thing. It's not just like, oh, I'm in a flow state.
Right.
It's a real thing where your needs kind of get set aside and you can relax, and you're so dedicated to the task that you can just get into that state. So now I'm trying to put these pieces together for our listeners and help them figure out, like, how can you get into a flow state? And it feels like a combination of one, almost like priming yourself.
Yeah.
With sunlight. Everyone needs sunlight.
Yes.
Exercise, movement, healthy meal, things like that. And a clean environment too. You know the feeling of like you just cleaned and now you just can like,
relax. It's the best feeling.
I even feel that way, like just like cleaning off the coffee table right in front of this. I was like, okay, like now we can enter our flow state and record our 82nd or 83rd podcast. It's one of those, I think. Might be the 83rd.
I never know.
Yeah.
We uploaded 80 today, so
right.
We have Jose's, maybe this is 82nd?
Something like that.
I have no idea.
But anyway, a little bit of priming yourself can help you get into that flow state. And then the biggest thing, distractions. We seem to be talking about this a lot lately because it's a common theme to like becoming the person you want to become. Everyone complains that they don't have time.
Of course. I mean, it's an easy excuse. I make it all the time. You make it all the time. It's just, it's what we can like use.
But anyone who's ever been really successful did not have extra time in the day.
No.
They just are really good at cutting out distractions. And part of why I feel like I'm in a flow state over the last 2 weeks, I've been here for a while. I was in Utah for a while. My screen time is like the lowest it's been in a while.
Oh, I love that.
Because I've been super unplugged. And therefore the quality of my work has been better. Even though I'm spending money by traveling, I will end up getting all of that back because I've been doing better work.
Yeah. Wow. It's interesting how that works, isn't it?
Yes, it definitely is. Because a lot of people don't want to travel because they got to spend money. And people can't even imagine like working while they travel. They're like, I've been busting my ass for so long. I'm going to take a 1 or 2 week vacation and do nothing. That makes me feel like shit.
I know. I'm like, I need maybe like 12 hours of doing nothing.
Yeah.
But I also love what I do. So I get it. If you work a job where you can turn it off, like when we're self-employed, there's always something to do.
Right.
When you work for someone, you can clock out and not think about it. But if you're feeling burnt out, you're going to want to get away for 2 weeks. We're not feeling that right now.
Yeah.
And we're passionate and excited and things are happening. And so like the thought of that for us is like torture.
Yeah.
Don't make me do that, please. Like I want to work wherever I go.
Yeah, it's true. I just feel guilty sometimes when I'm not working on something. Kind of like we talked about last episode with Jose during his darkness retreat. It's like, that's hard. That's hard for me to not do something because it makes me feel good to have been in a flow state, even for just a few minutes per day. It feels good. You feel great after. Like when you got something good done. I was in one in Utah when I was playing basketball against this guy named Jack, who there was just like a rec center where I was. I was in Park City, Utah. Beautiful place. And there was a rec center. It was $10 a day. I was like, ugh. They had a pool, basketball courts, indoor soccer. They had everything, and it was beautiful indoor basketball court. So I was shooting around. Not a lot of people in Park City, Utah. Pretty quiet place.
Yeah.
And this guy, Jack, comes in and starts shooting around. And I go up to him and I'm like, dude, let's play one-on-one. And we started playing. And like when you're in your like sports are so easy to get into a flow state because you're moving your body.
Yep.
And you're getting in that competitive mode where like we said before, the task at hand is the only thing that matters right now. Like, I don't care if I'm tired, which I definitely was. I haven't played in a while. And I don't care if I'm hungry. I don't care if I'm thirsty. My water bottle was on the other side of the gym. I was like, doesn't matter. Have to win, have to compete. have to set aside all of my feelings and emotions and just focus on the task at hand. So it helps to have something that can bring out the competitiveness in you.
That literally makes so much sense as to why there are days where I'm like, I don't feel like filming, but as soon as I press record, it's like I'm like trying to get it done, but it's like I suddenly get the energy. I forget I need to drink water. I forget everything I was thinking. And it's like I get into that state and I'm like, oh my God, what about this? Oh, this angle, this could be cool too. And it's like suddenly all those feelings I had that almost prevented me from even pressing record and doing it go away. And it's the same with sports. It's a physical activity when you're filming content, when you're editing a video. And it's almost like sometimes you just have to show up and then everything that you need will come to you for you putting in that one little step.
I almost said it's true. It's so true.
Let's tell our listeners. Let's ask them.
Okay, the question for our listeners is, if y'all hear me say it's true often, because I do apparently when we're recording this, because Michelle says a lot of true shit. So I often find myself, before I respond to things she says, saying it's true, probably once an episode.
At least once an episode. In the beginning episodes, and this is mostly for the listeners that have like heard the other 80.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I think it was a lot more of, it's true, it's so true.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you would say, and I love it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Please keep saying things are true.
If you say something that's not true, I'll call you out on it.
Exactly.
But when you're spitting facts, it's true.
It's true. So Nick said, fine, I'm going to start saying, what was it? Like, that is correct.
Yeah, I agree. Those facts add up. This checks out. Independent fact checkers have confirmed this.
Oh, my God.
But anyway, back to the sports part. And yes, I did beat Jack in the one-on-one game, 11-6.
Tell him how old he was.
22.
Oh, I thought he was like 17 for some reason.
No, he was like 22. He was really good, actually. He was very flashy. A lot of spin moves and crazy shit happening. I can't be doing all that, but got it done. Got it done for the listeners that were wondering. 11-6.
Oh my goodness.
But it felt so good. It felt so good to be in that flow state. I'm usually in a flow state of like working on a task, something in front of my computer, inspiring someone else. So it felt good to be doing one physically.
Yeah.
I get it a lot when I'm playing golf, but basketball's a lot more aggressive, and that felt good.
Fast, yeah.
Me and Evan, Michelle's husband, if anyone doesn't know, or maybe you're new here, we have been lifting weights every morning here super hard and really getting into a flow state as well. So we're priming ourselves for the day by getting into that flow state. And just that little competitiveness helps so much. Like we were doing legs the other day, and Evan just kept loading plates onto the hack squat machine. We were well over 300 pounds going for 12 reps. And I was like, I don't know if I got this in the tank, but like he just did it. It was my turn. I was like, fuck it, here we go. And, squeezed out 12 reps. And it's like, yes, like that feels so good to be in that state and feel competitive. And in that environment too, in a nice public gym where other people are watching, people are coming up to Evan because they know him and like they're watching. Like in the gym, people watch what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, we're about to rep out 300 whatever.
Isn't it interesting how it pushes you past what you think your limit is whenever people are watching and there's a competition? Yep. It's almost like those people that want to succeed on TikTok Shop and they're like, oh, this person's making 5 videos a day. The thought of that is daunting, but if they could do it, I can do it. And then they do it and then they make so much money because they did it. It was a competition almost. And it's like sometimes we need that. I love competitions. I love just all of that. So it's the same thing when it comes to creativity in certain aspects. Obviously do what you can, but like had people not won with 5 videos a day, no one would push themselves to that. Same with you in the gym with Evan working out.
Yeah, I love competition too. It feels so good.
You still lost to Pool, so maybe we need a rematch so you can win against me in pool billiards. Just saying.
We'll talk about that on an episode. Cut that. We'll have to cut that out, actually.
Oh my God.
That comment.
I'm keeping it.
But I'm trying to think of what other recent flow states I've been in that might be helpful examples.
Well, fishing, Nick. So say that you catch a fish. You say it's a really big fish. you are just going to keep reeling and reeling and reeling until you freaking get it. Or say that Kyra or somebody catches a fish and you haven't caught any. Your buddy, you and Mike fishing in wherever y'all were, Costa Rica, say that he caught a fish. You would literally not want to give up until you catch one too, because that's just your thing, right?
That is exactly what happens. I will sit there all day. Like sometimes when I would go fishing off the beach in New Jersey, and this, like, not only would the sun go down, the sun would be gone. Like, you know, when the sun goes down, it's still bright for like an hour. I'll be there in the pitch black by myself sometimes. Can't see what I'm doing. Can't see where I'm casting. Still just like, oh, I didn't catch anything yet today. And I will go for too long because I get into that flow state. So the theme of these flow states is like they happen a lot competitively.
Yeah.
They happen a lot when you're doing something physical or moving your body. And they also happen a lot when there's no distractions.
Oh, for sure.
No distractions. Like that's why Ian Fleming, the guy who wrote the James Bond novels, bought the cottage in Jamaica. I mean, I can't buy a cottage on the ocean in Jamaica right now. Maybe our listeners can't either. I hope y'all can. Someone. If so, I'll come get in a flow state with you and play basketball or whatever you want to do. But there's no distractions. And when you get distracted, it will fuck up your flow state. So even just a quiet place with no distractions, it's a lot easier to get into a flow state, even if it's not that perfect environment or that cottage in Jamaica or that competitive sport. Like maybe you have to sit in front of your laptop and do something that's a little more boring feeling or like tedious feeling. If you can cut out all of your distractions, you can still get into that flow state.
I think that's why, for me, when I have to do emails or anything on a computer, the best thing is to be moving on my treadmill, to be walking, because it's physical. So I'm like physically doing something, and therefore I'm able to mentally get into a flow state. So yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, whatever you're doing, as long as it's not something you hate, I feel like you don't want to be distracted. And like when I'm filming content and Ollie's like begging to go outside to go potty, my dog is Ollie, for those of you who are wondering who.
He's in between us right now.
He's currently, yes,
sleeping.
Cuddled in between us. It's very cute. Whenever he distracts me, I get like upset because I'm like, no, it's gonna take so much time for me to get back into this. You know how long it takes, right?
In my research this morning, it takes 23 minutes after a distraction to get back into your flow state.
That's just wild. And that's a normal person. Imagine like ADHD people and people trying to be creative. It's just so important to find a place where you don't have distractions. Like pro athletes have their gym. They all go to a gym. They don't have their kids running around. Like, no, they need to train. They have it to where it's a safe place to focus on your craft. And that's just, we all have to have that.
Yeah, like LeBron James does not play basketball with his phone in his pocket and
Hell
get distracted
no.
because he felt it vibrate.
Yeah. Oh, guys, do not disturb. The best thing ever.
Yeah, even the vibration will distract you. There have been lots of studies done where they hook people up to all the brain neurosensors. Clearly, I'm a doctor.
Sure.
And their phone will vibrate face down, and they see what it does, and it causes this like internal panic when people see or feel that and don't get to check it. So you truly have to leave your phone somewhere else. My friend Zach, this is a less beautiful example, but we used to play a ton of beer pong at Zach's house, and he would always say, like, no one's winning with their phone in their pocket.
Why?
Just because it's a distraction.
Wow.
And even still, I mean, people get very competitive in even something as silly as beer pong.
Me. That's me.
Yeah, like, it's a competitive thing. People take it seriously. And even something as silly as that, whether you're working on your masterpiece James Bond novel or playing beer pong with your friends, like no matter what it is, your phone and distractions pull you out of whatever you're doing. You lose your focus, and you're going to be less likely to win at whatever you're doing.
Yeah, and a lot of people are attached to their devices. And it's almost like you have to go through a dopamine detox.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, it's very real. I'm thankful that years have gone by of Do Not Disturb. I don't like vibration. I don't like any notifications because that feels like somebody needs me and I can't fully be in what I'm doing. And that makes me panic. And that doesn't It doesn't drive creativity. And I just feel like, well, are you going to bring up the thing about how long the 30-minute thing versus the...
Yeah, totally. So what we were saying before is when you're in the zone, 30 minutes of like productive work in the zone could be better than 3 hours of distracted work where your phone is next to you and you're taking a 5-minute break and going on TikTok and then trying to get back into it, and then someone sends you a text and you're responding and now you're getting back into it, and then you get another text and you're texting back and now you're trying to get back into the zone. 30 minutes of uninterrupted work in the zone could probably beat 2, 3, 6 hours of distracted work.
And the 30 minutes, you're going to get more ideas as well. It's not even just like the output, the amount you're producing. It's also the quality. Like the things that I'm able to come up with are never because I'm trying to come up with them or I'm like forcing it or I'm rushed or I'm distracted. It's always like when I put myself in this position to accept the things that are there already and I'm allowing for myself to hear them because I'm not hearing anything else.
I almost said it's true.
I was like, he's about to say it's true.
Because sometimes you say something profound like that, and I'm just like, yes, it's fucking true.
It's true. I approve.
It is true. It's true. You're right about that. You're so right about it. You woke Ollie up.
I know.
He was like, no, seriously, it's true.
Ollie's in a flow state.
He is in a flow state. That is what a flow state looks like right there if you're watching us on YouTube. We'll probably turn that into a short form.
It should be. This is just beautiful.
We're going to get into a flow state later.
We are in a couple hours.
Should we announce what we're working on or not yet? Maybe not yet.
Not yet.
We're working on something for y'all.
Yes.
Something it's going to be so life-changing even for us.
Yeah.
And for y'all, it's going to be so good. And we are going to the beach to work on it because we're like, all right, this is a creative task.
Yeah.
So we were kind of just like, yeah, we'll do that on the beach. Like, we're not going to do that. I mean, we could do it here.
For sure.
We'd be just fine here, but we're going to go do it on the beach. And part of why I like doing things on the beach, too, is because you're grounded to the earth.
Yes.
If y'all don't know this, the earth has an electromagnetic charge. It's slightly negative, kind of like a magnet or like an electrical outlet, but it's very small. So when you're touching the earth, not with rubber-soled shoes, when you are barefoot connected to the earth or hugging a tree, you're taking on a little bit of that electromagnetic charge, and your blood cells repel each other better because you're slightly magnetized, and it reduces inflammation, and it can be really healing. I'm seeing a lot of advertisements these days for like grounding bed sheets, where it's something you plug into your wall, and there's like a little adapter that changes the frequency coming out of it to match that of the earth.
Whoa.
And it's just like a little, almost like a towel that you put on your bed so that when you're sleeping, you're grounded. You are literally grounded, because if you think about where people would have slept ancestrally, it'd be on the floor, like not a tile floor, like on the ground,
on the dirt,
on the earth,
yeah,
in the grass,
yeah.
So,
wow,
that's kind of coming back now.
That's
and being
amazing.
Brought into penthouses, apartments, homes, condos, anything like that, so you can get more grounded time in. Pretty interesting, right?
I think that's a magnificent invention.
Yeah.
Obviously, the most organic is to just go put your bare feet to the ground. But like for those who want it more regularly, I think that's such a good, like, what? I've never heard of that. I want to research that. That's incredible. Somebody was in their flow state and they came up with that in their own creative mind.
Yep.
From being with themselves. That is wonderful.
We should see if by the time this episode comes out, we can find and recommend a grounding sheet.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's do that.
That would be really, really good for people, because even then when you're sleeping, you're going to wake up and feel like you're in that flow state more because you were grounded. It makes such a big difference. Like I said, I do my best work when I'm in the sun or moving my body. And if I'm in the sun, that typically means I'm barefoot. Like, it's super rare that I'm in the sun and I'm not. Even like when I'm golfing, like I played golf on the side of a mountain in Idaho last week. It was beautiful. I almost stepped on a snake, and I was barefoot.
You played barefoot? That's so funny.
It was the best. So I'm walking this course just connected, and it just felt so good. I was totally in a flow state. I almost made a hole-in-one. I was playing with Kyra, and so I hit one from the ladies' tee with her. So it was like 20 yards closer or something. And I truly was 4 inches from my second hole-in-one. Some people never get one in their life.
That's crazy.
And I attribute that to being barefoot and relaxed and just feeling like I was in a flow state.
And on the females.
The extra 20 yards helped. But it was not an easy shot by any means.
Oh my God, a hole-in-one is like goals, like just one.
Yes.
You've had one before?
Yes, I have made a hole-in-one.
Where?
It was at Eagle Oaks in New Jersey. It is the only, you know who Jack Nicklaus is?
Yeah. Oh wait, hold on. No, I was thinking of Jack Nicholson from.
What is that? Are you stabbing something?
Yes. It starts with an S. The scary movie that starts with an S. Evan.
Science.
No, the.
Psycho.
No?
Yeah.
With Jack Nicholson?
Oh, Shining.
Shining. The Shining.
Oh, I haven't seen.
That sound though is from Psycho.
Oh.
The shower scene.
I don't think I've seen it.
So who's Jack Nichols?
Jack Nicklaus
Nicholas.
is, some people say Tiger Woods is the best golfer of all time. Some people say it's Jack Nicklaus.
Oh.
Jack Nicklaus came before Tiger a little bit, kind of like, you know, LeBron, Michael Jordan argument. Some people are like, LeBron is the best. Some people say Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan was from before LeBron. So that's Jack Nicklaus, and it's the only Jack Nicklaus designed golf course in New Jersey.
Wow.
So it's an island green. So there's like this little grass walkway out into the middle of a lake, and then the hole like opens up and is out there. It's the coolest hole I've ever played golf on.
Beautiful.
It is so beautiful, and that is where I got my hole-in-one.
Congratulations.
And I had witnesses. I wasn't by myself. And I got a plaque on the wall and everything.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah, it was really expensive to be a member. I've talked about that place a little bit on this podcast. When I first got my job as a civil engineer and I had like adult money, but not adult bills, I joined this place.
Yeah.
It was so expensive, and I was playing more than I was allowed, and I was bribing the caddy guy. But I got a hole-in-one there.
Wow. That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Wow.
I've checked a lot of cool boxes in my life, and I attribute so much of that to reading, cutting out distractions, and focusing on tasks that are important to me, and, you know, knowing how to get in the zone.
Yeah, I think when we just do things that we truly enjoy, that help us. I mean, there's such a cheesy cliche thing where it's like, do more things that make you lose track of time. That's a real thing.
Yeah, that's
Like,
definitely a real thing.
And if you could find something that you can monetize, is his dog hair bothering you?
No, I'm just getting it off me. It's not bothering me.
If you can find that thing and also monetize it, like for me, making videos, not like where I'm talking to the camera, but like, I mean, this is actually something that I can lose track of time, but like making aesthetic videos or like creating something, being able to monetize that, living in a world, in a time and age where that can be monetized, I feel so blessed. I'm like, how is this real? Like that I get to do this thing and monetize it. And so it's like, even if it doesn't make you money, you need that as a human, because I used to not monetize this. I did it for fun. And then I realized, oh my God, I can make money doing this. So it's like that thing still got me closer to the monetization. So don't focus on the monetization. Focus on 30 minutes a day, getting into that state, doing something that you truly love, and then you will attract your opportunity in life.
Speaking of losing track of time, it's so funny you say that, because I was literally just thinking, how long have we been doing this?
The podcast?
Yeah, like this episode?
41 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're kind of right on par with our typical episode length. But like, this is one of those things that I lose track of time doing. It's so fun having these conversations with you for about 82 different times.
That's a lot of hours.
That's a lot of hours for sure. And the only reason I could lose track of time doing it here is because we're not on our typical recording app where you can see it. So I'm always aware of it, whether I want to be or not. But it's the kind of thing that I lose track of time. Like, I'm like, has it been 10 minutes? Are we over an hour? Are we going too long? Because I don't know.
I wouldn't know either unless this thing was telling me.
Right. So I love that. Another thing you were talking about too is like, just like making money online with your passions.
Yeah.
It's the easiest it's ever been.
Yeah.
It is not easy, but it's the easiest it's ever been to even like, I don't know, I just think about people like Jeff Bezos who make like $3 million a minute, like something crazy, and that they have $500 million yachts and things. And I'm like, anyone listening to this can get on social media, share their passion or gift with the world, and make their $10,000 a month that they want.
Look, this Rosalinda came because I bought a $20 ebook, a digital download from somebody who just makes sourdough starter. She's doing it. She likes making sourdough. She's also selling it on TikTok Shop. She sells sourdough starter packets on TikTok Shop. So it's like she's taking something so primal, like making bread, and turned it into digital downloads people can buy, sourdough starters people can buy. I'm sure she makes like sponsored payments as well. Like that is somebody who's doing exactly what we're saying. She's in her flow state and she's helping others like Rosalinda become alive.
And it makes me so happy that anyone can do these things.
Yeah.
Whether you're good at making bread, you're good at basketball, you're good at helping other people with anything.
Yeah.
And if you're not good at anything, then it's definitely because you're distracted, you're not getting into a flow state, and you're not giving yourself enough time alone.
Yes, yeah.
Like it took me so much time alone to even figure out like what I wanted to do, that I wanted to help other people, that I wanted to be a life coach. I really had to just be alone a lot and stop fucking scrolling on Instagram all the time. And like having a long day and then thinking at the end of that day that just like watching TV and scrolling on Instagram is going to make me eventually like my dream life is just going to show up on my doorstep. It's not going to. I really had to be alone, cut out distractions, think about what am I good at? What am I good at? What can I help people with? And what do I want to be doing every day?
Yeah.
And that time alone helped me figure that out. And then you invest in like courses, knowledge, people, make friends, connect with people online. Like it's crazy that I am here right now in your penthouse. I met you online in a course.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like bump into you at Target and like, I love that milk too. We should be friends. Like we met through social media and now we are sitting here. We have done 82 or 83 podcasts together and we're sitting here and Oliver is snoring a little bit in between us. And this is just like, it's just such a dream come true.
Yeah.
But the steps that lead to it are priming yourself every day with that movement and getting into that flow state and having quiet time with no distractions to figure yourself out and figure out what you are supposed to share with the world.
Yeah, it just reminds me that a lot of people think that freedom equals being able to go home and watch TV until they go to bed. But really, like, discipline to a lot of people feels like they're being held back or that they're being chained up. But discipline equals freedom. So, like, you're here because of the discipline of reading, of spending time alone, of doing yoga, of meditation, of breath work. Like, that's why you're here. And being a good person, obviously. Like, yes, you're always welcome. But it's the discipline that requires it requires discipline to get the freedom. Point, done, period. That's it.
One of the first self-development books I read was Discipline Equals Freedom by Jocko Willink. That's the name of his book. Have you not read it?
No, I'd never heard of it.
I'm going to send you a copy. It's probably the easiest. It's almost like a children's book because there's so few words on each page.
Love that.
And it's just a reminder. It's like, wake the fuck up. What are you doing? You have so little time on this earth. Time moves so quickly. What the fuck are you doing? That's like the book. But in it, like it really pulls it out of you and is like, come on, like you can do it. It has never been easier. The time is right now.
Wow.
I will send you a copy, and I recommend our readers the books we talked about today, The Wealth Money Can't Buy, The 5 a.m. Club, and Discipline Equals Freedom. You could find definitely all of those in our Amazon links below.
Yes.
Extreme Ownership is another good one. That's another good one.
Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits as well. I have 2 copies.
Not anymore.
Well, I still have both.
Well, yes, but by the time this comes out, somebody will hopefully have won the other one.
Yes. With all of that said, is there anything else that you want to say or add about getting in the zone or that flow state?
It's not going to be perfect at first. Just trial and error. And it's going to change. It's going to change every year. It's going to change every month maybe. Like, you've just got to find what's working for you right now. Life is too short to be just trying to, what is it called when you're on water? Like
Treading water.
treading water. Life is too short to tread water, to tread through it, to just be miserable, just be happy. I just want everybody to be happy.
I don't think I have anything else to add. This was a great episode. We're definitely in the flow state right now. And then we're going to go to the beach, get in the flow state more. We have such cool stuff coming for all of our listeners. We can't wait to share with you guys, but we can't actually share it with you yet. If you are looking for more ways to monetize your creativity, find financial freedom, and just try and live a better life, please, 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 all we ask from you, even more important than reviews. Like, yes, we really, really want you guys to hit that little 5-star button and give us a comment on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever you listen to. Let us know if you love the show. It helps us rank better. It helps us reach more people. It helps us provide better editing, better podcast quality, and better guests to you guys. So it's an investment in you, and it's free. But even more important than that, go to creationtocashflow.com and leave us a voice memo and tell us about what you're going through. Tell us about your problems. Tell us about the things that are happening in your life right now. And we would love to speak on them and just give our 2 cents. You know, if you've got a problem or a question or a topic that you want to hear us talk about, we'll make an episode specific to what you're going through and dealing with. Mm-hmm. It's one of our favorite things to do because we do this podcast for you guys.
Yeah.
We don't do it to make money. We do it to help you guys because it helps us be in the flow state. We're reminding ourselves of all of these things that have helped us get to where we are and will continue helping us get to where we are going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we do this for you guys. And that's really all we ask, is that you just rate and review the show and keep telling us what you want to hear more about so we can keep doing it for you guys. And we love you. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Bye, guys.